Hello. Back in April, my dad and I went to see a NASCAR race in Talladega. And one thing that we noticed when we were preparing to go there was kind of the lack of information regarding getting there, where to go when you're camping. Because we were pulling a travel trailer with us because we were camping out there at the racetrack. Not on the infield, but just on the outfield in one of the reserved campsites. There's not really a lot of information on where you turn, where you go, what road you follow. There's not really anything, especially in a video demonstration, kind of guiding you to there. So I've been to Talladega once before back in 2019, and I went to the free camping, so I kind of had an idea of where to go. But I knew there were kind of multiple entrances, but I wasn't entirely sure. Could you go through all of them, one of them? They have a specific way you wanted to go. The first time I just kind of followed traffic around the racetrack to where they wanted us to go. And that's kind of what we did this time. So, this video here is just going to talk about where we went and what turns we made to get to our campsite on the outside of the racetrack. Now, you see here we're just getting off the interstate at exit 168 for the racetrack. It's easy to find the exit. Of course, you'll see on the GPS with the exit number and the signs for the racetrack. So for us, we were coming from the eastbound side of I-20, getting off there at 168. And with that said, you'll want to be in the right lane because you're making that first right turn. And then once you get off the ramp there, you'll want to make sure you put yourself in the left lane as you go south towards onto Speedway Boulevard. And so we were there on a Thursday, and I would recommend if you are pulling a trailer, especially if you don't have a lot of experience pulling one, that getting to the racetrack earlier makes it a lot easier because you'll have plenty of room to back into your parking space since there's not a lot of people there. The campgrounds or the outside campgrounds open up the Monday before race weekend. Some people do get there. They'll hang out all week. But us, we chose to get there on Thursday. And then throughout the rest of the weekend, the campground slowly kind of filled in. And of course, Saturday night, the campgrounds were about as full as you'll see them. Now, when you come up to the turn for Speedway Boulevard, you'll see some traffic, and I believe it usually is controlled by a traffic cop. When we were there, they had police controlling traffic, and so at some point they'll go ahead and wave you in, and you can make your left turn. Now, once you're on Speedway Boulevard, you want to kind of just stick to the right lane because your turnoff for the racetrack will be on the right side. That is, unless you are in the Geico North Campground, which is a free campground. That is actually north of Speedway Boulevard. If you're parking over there, or I think there's some parking over there too. But if you're parking at the Geico North lot, you want to be in the left lane because you'll be making a left turn once you get to the Speedway. Now, as you approach the racetrack, you'll see some signs for some free parking, as well as, I believe, the Geico West free campground. And if that's you, you'll go ahead and turn off where you see those signs. And I haven't been over that way, so I'm not exactly sure where you go from there. But I think that the key here is just to follow those signs. Now we're going to Winter's Walk 2, and the general path for that is you'll turn off at the main entrance for the racetrack. It's like a 4-lane road that goes right up towards the racetrack, up towards its turn 4. And so for us, your landmark for that is you'll pass the Motorsports Hall of Fame. That'll be on your right. You'll see the sign for that. And soon after that, you will see the turnoff. Other RVs will also be turning there too, and that'll be kind of your help there, as you'll just kind of follow the leader and follow all these other RVs that are turning in, and they'll more or less know where to go, and you just kind of follow them. Though you do have to be careful if you're parking on or camping on the outfield. At some point, the road here will divide into 2 lanes. One lane takes you to the tunnel for the infield camping, while the other one will keep it going around the racetrack for the outside camping. And so the general path here is, for the outside camping, they're going to have you come down this main road right here. And it's really big and obvious for Talladega. And there'll be a turnoff where you turn left, and you're kind of just following a road that goes around the backstretch. So around turns 3 and 4, the backstretch to 2 and 1, to where there'll be a check-in station. And they'll have signs posted, and electronic signs that kind of tell you which way to go for what kind of campground. Now, Winter's Walk 2, that wasn't always marked, but you'll usually see signs for one of the outfield campgrounds that sits to like the south of turns 1 and 2, and you kind of just follow those signs. So you just want to know kind of what all the other campgrounds are named. So you'll see here we're going down this road here that will take us around turns 3 and 4. So you'll come up to an intersection right here. We'll see kind of to your left, kind of to your 10 o'clock position, are these sets of triangular signs. They're kind of hard to read, but you'll keep to the left of those. I think if you were to keep right, you'd go towards the tunnel for the infield camping. I believe that's a newer tunnel. I think they built that in 2019 as a new way for infield campers to get to the infield. I think before 2019, everyone followed the same path to an infield tunnel under turns 1 and 2. And now you just kind of follow this road that goes around the backstretch. It kind of straddles between the backstretch of the racetrack and an airfield. In fact, this part of the racetrack, actually a good chunk of the racetrack, used to be an old Army Air Corps base. And so a lot of this concrete is from the old taxiways and runways of the airfield. Now, of course, there's a new active airfield just to the east of the racetrack, and that almost blends into all this too. Especially if you look at it from Google Maps or Google Earth. It's kind of hard to distinguish the racetrack property from the airfield. So as you come up to the stop sign, you'll see more of these triangular signs that kind of go over the road and they kind of guide you. And we're taking the middle lane. I think the right lane takes you somewhere else that is not the outfield camping to the south of turns 1 and 2. I think generally you're looking for, a lot of the signs say South Park. Even though if you're Winter's Walk 1 or 2 or one of the other ones that are kind of that same area, you're still going to look for Winter's Walk. And again, one of the most helpful things is just to follow the other RVs. I think maybe not most, a lot of RVs are here almost every year, and so they'll be going the right direction. And then newbies like us to RV camping at Talladega kind of just follow them. And at this point, you're almost just following this perimeter road. Now, you'll see signs like the Alabama Gating Super Stretch, which is that campsite that sits on the back of the backstretch. You're not going towards that, but you'll see that sign there. Or that might change for next year. I don't know. But then we're going to make a left turn, and again, just kind of following the RVs. Also, another good thing about just getting to the track a few days before the race, I'd almost want to spend an entire week there and just hang out and camp. And then maybe go see some of the local attractions in the area. But part of it is you kind of have this energy in the atmosphere, or this energy in just kind of the air, I guess. Electricity. It's kind of slowly builds throughout the weekend and leading up to the main event, which is the Cup race on Sunday. Especially as more people fill into the campground, it's kind of like this rising, the rising action in a story, and you come up to the climax at the end. And then after the race, you kind of hang out at the campground. It's kind of like the falling action and the resolution of the story. That's what I think about when I think about this weekend. And that'll be one of the best things about camping too, is you don't have to fight traffic the Sunday after the race. Some people will if they have to be back somewhere, but most people just go back to their campsite, hang out, listen to music, barbecue, and then don't worry about packing up until the morning. And the racetrack seems to kind of just give you all. They seem to give you all day to clear out. They're not forcing people to clear out early. I bet if you were to stay there all day, they'd probably start forcing people out towards the end of the day. But people kind of just pack up at their own pace, and because of that, there's kind of this slow trickle of RVs leaving throughout the day. We left about 10 or 11 a.m. Monday morning, and there's a steady stream of RVs and really not much of a traffic jam. We were able to get out there real easily. You'll see here we're kind of veering to the left here, and continue veering to the left. Really, you're just kind of hugging this left perimeter because there's not very many places to turn left. There's a few places to turn right. But you're just going to keep to the left and not make any right turns. I think we're coming up here, this grove of trees is the Boy Scout campground. Talladega seems to be big on stuff like the Boy Scouts. I think it also kind of comes with stuff with the military and the Boy Scouts and all that. They're supportive of all those organizations. Now we're coming up on the check-in station. And I believe you'll definitely need your reserve campground ticket. If you're free camping, then you need to show your Sunday ticket. Free campground has no ticket to buy or ticket to get. It's first come, first serve until it fills up, and all you need to have is your Sunday ticket for that. I believe for the reserve campground, we had our Sunday tickets ready, but I believe all they did was check that we had our reserve campground ticket. Now here, as we get closer to the check-in point, you'll probably see you'll see it open up to a couple lanes, and you'll see some signs that kind of point you to different campgrounds depending on which campground you're going, the signs might tell you to be in this lane or that lane. You may not have a choice. The workers just seem to be putting you in one lane or the other to try to get as many RVs pulled forward as possible. And so it looks like they're just kind of pointing you into one or the other depending on which line is shorter. So in this case, they pointed us to the right lane, which is kind of lane I was thinking we were going to need anyway, but they may just point you to the left lane. I assume once you get to the checkpoint, at that point you just drive forward or make your turn to the free camping depending on where you're going. I don't think it matters what lane you're actually in, but based on the way they're handling the check-in. You'll see this is that sign I was talking about earlier. I really don't think it matters which side you want to be on because it kind of just directs you. So you don't have much of a choice there. Now at this point they're scanning our reserve camping ticket. Again, I think if it's a Sunday race ticket, or excuse me, if you're doing the free camping, you'd show them your Sunday race ticket. At this point, they give us a sticker to put in our windshield to show that our vehicle is supposed to be there and parked, and I believe that means we can also drive our vehicle out after we parked our trailer, and they would get us back in. They also write down our spot number and our campsite number and the campsite we're in too, and I think they write that on your windshield, but I believe that's just for the workers to help guide you to your campsite. And so continuing straight at this gatehouse, this takes us to the reserve camping. If you were to, before the gatehouse, you could turn left and that would take you over to the free camping area. And once you were there, you just pick out a campsite, stake your claim, and yeah, it's kind of a free-for-all over the free camping. This road's pretty straightforward. A lot of these reserve campgrounds are all along this road. So it's not really hard to navigate at this point. You're just kind of looking for the sign for your campground. There might be some reserve campgrounds somewhere else, but I'm pretty sure most, if not all of them, are along this road. So our campground, Winter's Walk 2, is on the left side, so we're just kind of keeping an eye out for that. And of course, you want to drive slow because there's people on bikes and walking around and hanging out and getting properly drunk for the weekend. Now, I'm not sure if you'll get this for every one of the campsites. I'm not sure if she's like a camp supervisor or something, but they kind of had some people out here to help kind of guide you to where your campsite might be. You just kind of show them your ticket and tell them where you're going. I think that number they write on your winch is supposed to help them with that too. But they also kind of gave us some information about the racetrack and the weekend, as well as a map of the racetrack and all the campgrounds that also had all the events and the schedule for the weekend, and additional information for stuff like pump out services, ice, fresh water, that sort of stuff. So don't really check anything. I think actually they probably check your ticket, but I think they're mostly there just to help guide you to where your campsite's going to be. Now, this is where getting to the racetrack early really benefits you. As you can see, a lot of these campsites aren't filled up yet. Now, they will be as people come in to park and set up their campsites over the weekend. But on this day, this is Thursday afternoon. Thursday afternoon around 3 o'clock. And there's not a lot of people here yet, so you may have the luxury of being able to do what we did and pull through a warm campsite into our campsite and make it real easy for you to get in there and set up. I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and I hope it helps answer any of your questions about getting to the racetrack your first time. So like I said at the beginning of the video, the biggest thing was there was just not a lot of information about actually getting to the racetrack as a camper and getting to your campsite and what all is involved in doing that. And for a first time camper, all this kind of seems a little mysterious, almost a little scary, because you don't want to go to the wrong place or do the wrong thing. And of course, once you do it, you realize it's kind of simple and there's not a big deal to it. You'll know for next time. But I thought I'd pass along our first time experience to anyone else who's looking to get to the racetrack for their first time. Especially because I know before doing all this, before getting there, we were looking at videos and trying to just do Google searches to see what other people were doing. And especially most of the videos, YouTube videos, most of it's just people in the free campgrounds or RV vloggers just setting up an infield. Especially in the free campgrounds, it's just showing off the partying that's going on over there. But nothing really instructional or educational, just about getting to the racetrack and how you do that. So, like I said, I'll say it again. I hope this answered any of your questions. And have a good day.